Hi there, it's Roger V for Swift Web Designer, and I want to show you how to double your income in 7 days. There's me, just want to show you who it is that's speaking. And what we're going to cover here is an introduction to PPC, which is pay-per-click, and other display media. This falls under search engine marketing. Search engine optimization is the practice of getting you higher into the organic results, which you do not have to pay for. However, that's like building a house from scratch. What we're going to cover today is what's called, generally loosely defined, as pay-per-click, but we'll also touch on CPA, which is cost per action advertising. We're going to talk about CPM. We're going to talk about display media. Long and short of it, this is all paid advertising, and it's faster, and it's like renting a house because you get to move into page one immediately, and you get to immediately start generating some meaningful results so that you can spend more time in selling conversations and less time on everything else. My intention for this webinar is that I deliver you a useful strategy regardless of whether you and I ever do business. We're in the business of selling basically tactical weapons, to put it in an art of war sort of framework. But the strategy works regardless of whether you and I ever work together. So my point is you will get some useful information in this brief video that you can put into play regardless. I'm going to reference during this video a couple phrases that I just want to lay out for you. One is PPC, and that's pay per click. And I'll explain what that is in a second. The second is CPM. That really refers to display media, so typically like banner ads, right? And that's CPM means cost per 1,000 views. There's also CPC, which is cost per click, which is basically the same as pay per click. And there's CPA, which is cost per action. And so that can be used for leads production. What's exciting about that is it's a high stakes game where I've seen clients produce 300 leads per day. It's not for the faint of heart, and it involves some setup, but it is definitely a way to really reach the big leagues. Okay, first let's get into really quickly what is pay-per-click. Pay-per-click is this pink section up here. These are sponsored links, and all these links on the right, these are also sponsored links. So when I mentioned that you could compare the pay-per-click to search engine optimization as though you were renting a house instead of building a house, you can move into the top of the page immediately. To get here on organic position takes more work in many cases. Now here I'm deliberately showing you what are called blended results. Google has switched to putting multiple types of results into one page, and so this is a map 3-pack. When we optimize for Google Maps, and that's definitely one of the services that we offer, is optimizing for all the different types of maps and for local search and for even iPhone apps and that kind of thing. But because I search for Los Angeles, it displays a map. It assumes that what I want is to go find a Porsche mechanic, which in this case is probably true. This is all organic positioning here in the middle. This is pay-per-click on the right. Bing is really interesting. Now, Bing has a slightly less computer savvy audience, and this is really interesting because there's an opportunity here. Advertising on Bing is cheaper, and the audience is a little bit less savvy, which means they actually shop less. And the reason is because the people who usually use Bing as their default search engine are, frankly, mostly the people who bought a computer and are not computer savvy enough to know how to change their search engine. So they don't know how to change the search engine. Well, because it's a Microsoft product, it defaults to Bing. So for certain industries, that can be especially helpful, and you can often get a higher return on investment on Bing than you would on Google. That said, Bing has a much lower search engine traffic. Bing has been rising because of the commitment by Microsoft. They've been spending $100 million on advertising and really reaching presence of mind. So they've been sort of taking market share away steadily from Yahoo, but a little bit from Google as well. People are actually starting to use Bing more often. They've associated certain words as words you're probably not going to go too far. So any kind of restaurant, if you type that in, they know that you're probably not going to go too far. So it automatically displays Los Angeles area Thai restaurants because it knows that I'm not going to go more than a few miles for that service. Here's the pay-per-click right here up in the sponsored sites in the very top, and then of course on the right side. And here's Yahoo. Yahoo has a really great sort of content network because they focus more on sort of a news, so they definitely have their place, and it can be profitable to work with them. There's also less competition than Google, so your end result, your cost per lead on Yahoo is typically lower. It just creates a little bit more hassle setting up accounts in different places. Here we are on Facebook. Of course, we've got some sponsored ads on the right. Just wanted to point those out. Facebook is excellent for targeting a specific audience. So here's what I mean by that. I've got a client that does reverse mortgages, and what's beautiful about Facebook is you can target just people age 62 plus, right, which is what you need to get a reverse mortgage. So you can be razor targeted for a certain area. Because Facebook has so much information about the nature of these people, including their age and where they live, and some of that type of information. If you want to reach somebody that's a real specific segment of the population, Facebook may be the perfect tool for you. Here we have LinkedIn. What's great about LinkedIn is it allows you to target by job position. So if you just wanted to reach CEOs, for example, let's say that you were selling investment opportunities and you were looking for people that could write a check for $300,000. One way you could probably reach them is by targeting just CEOs through LinkedIn and reaching them that way. So if you wanted to reach either a certain company or a certain position, something like that, LinkedIn may be an excellent way to do that. Next, I want to touch on display media. And display media is often a lot cheaper than simply going through Google. So what happens is because Google is so dominant in our society today, that it's often the first place people start. So they want to advertise online and they go straight to Google. And as a result, some of these other players have less competition and fewer businesses trying to buy that media space. And because Google is so profitable, which really what I'm referring to there is their margins. They take about 40% of all the ad revenue going through their ad network. Well, there are a lot of other companies where the publishers, let's say they own a hit blog or they own Toon Media or who knows, one of these companies, right? These companies will go to a company like Adify because they can earn more money than Google's going to pay them, because these companies like Adify are willing to work for less than Google's position. Now, Google's, of course, the 800-pound gorilla in the space, but there are some excellent opportunities, is my point, especially if you're after a certain niche. Also, this can be especially helpful for presence of mind. If you're looking to raise your overall presence of mind within a certain niche, then display media can be an excellent way to do that at lower cost. Now, Google, Yahoo, and Bing are all cost per click. And what that means is you pay for the click. And you pay for that click if it was an 8-year-old kid clicking around the screen, or if it was a highly targeted, perfect bullseye client for you. Bottom line is you simply pay per click. Now, they claim to have fraud prevention. However, you should expect that a certain percentage of the clicks, especially on the first day, as soon as you start advertising, what's going to happen is your competitors who are watching their own ads will probably all go and try and click on your ad, and they're trying to drive you out of business. So I will tell you that the first couple days, whenever you start any kind of paid cost per click advertising, you should expect that all of your competitors are going to click your ads, trying to sink you and trying to make you go away, because frankly, it works. A lot of people get discouraged easily, and they don't know this. And so what happens is they try it for a couple days, and they say, oh, I lost $200 and I didn't get a single lead or something like that. You can just expect it. It's just sort of par for course. And to be totally honest, once you start running some ads, you will probably notice other competitors next to you, and you'll probably click their ads while they're doing the same thing to you. So point being is just be expecting it for the first couple days that your overall return is going to be lower, and really what you're looking for is that return after a week or so. Now, for display media, what's going to happen is you're going to run the ad in terms of CPM. So let's say in this example here, the total cost of the ad is $15,000, the audience is 2.4 million, and therefore your CPM is $6.25. That's $6.25 per 1,000 people. Right? Next, I need to interrupt for just a moment and give you the actual formula that looks deceptively simple, but it really is that simple. However, pay close attention to the details. The success formula is big, relevant traffic plus compelling, profitable offers equals success. Breaking that down, first, you want obviously big traffic, but it isn't just big traffic, it also needs to be relevant traffic. And all of this advertising allows you to narrowly target that. Second, you need to have compelling offers. So taking a look at what is a compelling offer. Well, what is an offer that when you get to the page, you really want to opt in? You see an opportunity. You want to learn more. You want something. You want the free report. You want the free video. You want the consultation. You want to solve a problem. People ask all the time, what's a good conversion rate? Well, that totally depends on what it is that you're doing. Now, if you're giving away gold bricks and all you have to do is enter your name and address of where to ship the gold brick, you've got a really high value, you've got an easy request, so your conversion is going to be really high. Now, if you offer something of low value, let's say it's the chance to win a Nintendo Wii, and it's difficult, you have to fill out a 20-page survey, or it's expensive, you have to actually get out your credit card, then your conversion is going to be a lot lower. Anytime somebody has to get out their credit card, it doesn't matter if it's $1, it could be literally 1 penny, but if they have to get out their credit card, your conversion's usually going to go down dramatically. Now, sometimes people value what they pay for, and so if you build the value high enough so that people really want it, and then you charge them some money, that can be obviously a great recipe for success. So the solution to this is build the value and make sure the capture is easy. Now, for many businesses, you're actually going to sell these clients offline. If you are an auto mechanic, somebody needs to bring their car in and have a real conversation about what needs to be done. If you are a plumber, you need to talk about the nature of their problem, what is it that they're solving. Even something like mattresses. Most people won't buy a mattress online because they want to test it out and stuff like that. So long and short of it, what you're in the business of doing is producing a lead to follow up on, to put on, add to your newsletter, to stay in touch with, and to call and say, hey, when can we get you in to test out these mattresses, or are you, why do you need to move in the case of a realtor? Whatever the case is for you, your job is to produce leads, and then from the leads you'll work them through the sales cycle. So one of the worst and most common mistakes that I see people making is using pay-per-click and then pushing them right into their website. And here's why that is such a fatal mistake, and I say fatal because you are killing money if you do that, is you give people way too many choices. It is way too easy for them to get onto your website, start reading about something, and then the dog barks, dinner's ready, the secretary comes in, something happens, they close the browser, and they say, oh, I should look into this, and they're gone. Now, you just paid to get them there, and then you didn't capture them. So what you always want to do is put them through what's called a squeeze page, and it's designed to squeeze out some basic capture information, and then get them to your website, where it's all about building trust and educating your client once you've captured their information. But point being is you want to always put them through some sort of landing page or squeeze page. Here we have a simple one, and it's based around a headline, and it's based around a perceived value free book. This book is just delivered digitally. There's nothing actually physically shipped. And we make the graphics to increase the perceived value, and so people instantly get it. When you saw this, you knew you were going to get a book, right? And here's the capture form, so obviously what we're asking them to do looks pretty easy. There's not a whole lot you can do. Now notice that there's no navigation here. You have one choice: opt in or leave, right? Now in a bit we'll talk about Google Website Optimizer, and that's a free tool that we can help you implement. And what we can do is test different headlines. We can test different images, test different headlines, and what's going to happen is we're going to end up with variations, something like this. And what it'll say is this headline outperformed by 32.5%, right? Or this picture performed better by 32%, or this one underperformed by 29%. So what we do is we make different variations of the page, test those against each other, and steadily and systematically we can increase that conversion. Now what's exciting and overlooked about optimizing landing pages is that if we double your conversion, we just doubled your profit without any increase in your expenditure, right? Your advertising cost is the same. You're still paying to get the same number of people to that page. And if we double that conversion, we just doubled your leads, which should generally double your income. That's Google Website Optimizer, and we can help you implement that. To learn more about that, just go to google.com/website optimizer, and it'll forward you to this other URL. And there's a little website video. Just take a look at this video. It'll tell you more about it. And it's free. Here's another example of a landing page. It's got a little more to it. It's a little more graphics. It's got the free consultation. It's got the free kit. And the video is there to build value and educate the audience about what it is that this gentleman does. Here you've got a few headlines and benefit statements. It's basically a short letter. Notice on the left we've got a few testimonials and a few bullet points. And then notice, of course, we've got, again, yet another call to action at the very bottom. Again, notice no other choice other than really to opt in on this page. Here's another landing page design. Notice there's, again, no navigation. We've got graphics that sort of set the tone. We've got the newsletter sign up. We've got a video to build value. One's a longer sales letter style with testimonials sort of embedded throughout the video we're replacing. We've got bullet statements and then a call to action. Now notice what we do on this one is we separate the price on that first page. We don't show the price at all. And the reason that we do that is because it makes it really easy to test your price separately. So if you've got a product that you've got flexibility on the price and you wanted to do some price testing, by separating the price onto the second page, we can easily find out how many people